Welcome and welcome back. We are here with a review for the season finale, though I think that term is a bit misleading, of WandaVision. Now, this wasn't good. This wasn't good. Leave the dislike, unsubscribe from the channel, leave me nasty comments. I don't care. This wasn't good. In fact, this made the rest of the season feel like a waste of time. I'll get to that in a little bit, and I'll get to two things thematically that really bothered me here. But let's just talk about some small stuff here first. One little thing which I thought was a nice detail. Look, this series, beginning to end, had some little touches that were really nice. Had some little touches that would have contributed to something much greater if the themes and the characters had been better or more consistent. One in this episode was the boots under the car, like the Wicked Witch of the West. That was that's a great little detail to really fluff a project like this, which is about witches and cinema. When you put a cinematic witch detail into a project which is about witches and about cinema, it becomes a little fluff that really helps a project fill out. Number two, the battle between Vision and Vision happens in a library. That was awesome. That was fantastic. If the character of White Vision had been more consequential, and had the character of Vision had an actual arc in this project, that would have been a great little touch. Neither of those things are true, so that felt sort of hollow, and I couldn't even blame anyone for not having noticed it in this, that the battle between Vision and Vision happened in a library. I could not blame you if you did not notice that, because the scene itself was so empty that even the fact that what we're doing here is Vision using logic against Vision to get the win over Vision, an android, only logical, non-emotional, the only way to beat him would be with logic. He does this. I would be willing... I couldn't blame you if you don't notice it, because it's so poorly executed. So poorly executed. I think that the term of finale is misleading, because this did not end. It stopped. There was the beginning of emotional payoff when they were laying the children down to sleep. There was the beginning of emotional payoff there, but it doesn't go anywhere, because it is undercut immediately by a scene with Vision, which is supposed to have equal impact, but it doesn't. It's probably a better scene than the scene with the children. And I think part of the mess with this episode in general is that it all felt so rushed. And I think the fact that it felt so rushed is because episode 2, episode 7, I believe episode 3 or 4 felt like nothings. Felt like nothing burgers, right? So if you get some of the emotional planting done in those episodes that needed to pay off in this episode, then we would be able to actually have those emotional payoffs. We don't get the planting done because there were several episodes in a 9-episode season. There were several episodes which were bombs, which were nothing burgers, which were empty. This is just going to sound like a whole lot of complaining, but I really don't have it. First off, let me start here. Let's start here. Haywood's not the bad guy. Haywood is not the bad guy of this series. Now, I know we wanted to paint him as the bad guy because, let's the man. Further, the white man, the white authority figure, let's go ahead and we'll make him the bad guy, regardless of what actually plays out in the series. I don't care anymore. Fuck the politics, fuck this, fuck that. This is just awful storytelling. You picked someone to be the bad guy and then didn't backfill the work that needed to be backfilled in order to make him an evil character. Is he ambitious? Sure. He wants credit for taking down Wanda Maximoff, who, by the way, needed to be taken down. Haywood is not the bad guy of this series because clearly the bad guy of this series is Wanda. In fact, I want you to take a step back from the series and beat for beat, point for point, compare Wanda and the actions of Wanda to Thanos and the actions of Thanos. Wanda ruined a whole lot of lives trying to make a world for herself which was stable. Thanos ruined a whole lot of lives trying to make a world for himself which was stable. And this is prior to the events of Avengers, Infinity War. Ruined a whole lot of planets, right? And while he was ruining all those people's lives, he adopted for himself a child. While Wanda was ruining all these people's worlds that she has kidnapped, while she was doing that, she adopted children for herself. She manifested them, so it's a little bit different. In fact, one might be tempted to say it is less humanitarian because she did not save anyone in the process. She just manifested them. Wanda ruins all these worlds and has done so because she thinks she's forging a world which needs to happen. However, Thanos thought he was forging a world which needed to happen because of stability and the fact that too many lives would lead to instability. So it was for the greater good. It was utilitarian in what he did, in the crimes he committed. Wanda, very selfish. There are a couple little pieces of dialogue in here that just really didn't hit home for a character that is the villain of this series when she's talking to I'm going to blank on the name, the other witch. I can't think of her name right now. The difference between you and me is you did this on purpose. Wanda, you don't get to be the victim here. Wanda, you don't get to run away from this without consequence. Wanda, you did this very much with purpose, though you claim to not have done it on purpose. You don't get to play the victim here. You have an entire town of people that you have taken hostage. That you have taken hostage. You have put them through pain. You have put them through horror. You have put them through your nightmares. You have stolen their lives from them. And you are here claiming victimhood. I'm afraid that doesn't pan out. And later in the episode, when Monica Rambeau sees Wanda after she has forsaken her entire family, she says to her, "They'll never know what you sacrificed for them. No, you don't get to play that card. You'll never know what they sacrificed because of you, what you sacrificed them. You'll never understand how you sacrificed them." In fact, here's the thing. It is so stupid. It is so plot holiness that the English does not compute in order to flip it. The English does not compute in order to flip that and put it back in the place that it belongs. The blame belongs with Wanda. And here's the thing. This would be awesome. This would be awesome if it were Wanda becoming the villain. This would be so good if it were Wanda becoming the villain. That's not what we get. That is not what we get at the end. What we get at the end is, oh no, Hayward is the bad guy. He's going to jail, don't you know? He's supposed to, don't you know? Darcy caught him, don't you know? Even though she's nowhere to be found now, she hit him with the car, which would have killed him. She hit him with the car and then disappeared, and he just stayed put. He was clearly conscious after the impact, conscious enough at least to run away. What in the hell happened here? This all fell apart so hard. This all fell apart so hard. I don't even know if I have something with which to follow that statement. This all fell apart so hard. It makes me wonder if I even want to keep reviewing the Marvel stuff on Disney Plus. Honestly, with the way the Star Wars stuff has gone in the last couple months, plus WandaVision being a dud, I don't know if I want to keep Disney Plus. I really don't. This was bad. I don't know where I would... So this show had so much potential. I don't even know where I would rank this in the MCU if WandaVision were a project. So it's hard to compare really because all we've had is movies really for the MCU so far. But movie-wise, I don't know. I really don't. In the lower third, I think, which sucks because there was so much potential here. There were so many moments which, had they had a proper payoff, would have been monumental. There were so many moments which had the potential to be so good. Really did have the potential to be so good. Oh, and here's a little thing. The Wanda to Thanos comparison. Wanda even has a Thanos ending. She does the dirty, and then she runs off to a cabin in the woods. Just like Thanos did. I don't know. I don't know what else there is to say about this. Here's one observation. Now, I think when you're talking about storytelling, and especially when you're talking about this brand of storytelling, perhaps, maybe I'm not being fair. On the comic book level, I think that it could be grafted one for one in translation with something such as professional wrestling. Capitalize on the emotions, right? That's a lot of storytelling in general. We don't have to go to the literature level of things in order to capitalize on storytelling. Take a note from Vince McMahon. Once Vince McMahon stopped listening to the crowd and started trying to manufacture those characters which he wanted to get over, it stops working. Monica Rambeau is an exceedingly boring character. Maybe you can make it work, but I don't think so. Maybe you can pull it off, but I doubt it. Maybe you can redeem that character after this series, especially when the character started off so strong in the early episodes. The character was engaging and was likable in the early episodes. This was bad. That character in this episode, that character in the latter part of this, that character after she got her powers or recognized her powers or whatever the power sequence is there, that character was so boring that the moments she was on screen, I wanted anyone else in the series. Literally anyone else in the series. Even Darcy, who I really liked in the Thor movies, but was terrible in this series. Put her on screen. At least there's charisma there. Once the Monica Rambeau character assumed powers, she lost all charisma. And I don't understand that. What could be more compelling than a person who has charisma? A person who has charisma and powers. So how come she didn't just maintain that character after assuming powers. She was engaging early in the series. It was fun to watch her early in the series. It seemed like a good actress early in the series. But once this thing broke down and her powers broke out, super boring. Super boring. So take a note, Kevin Feige, from professional wrestling. And if you're going to try to push a character, make them interesting. One of the characters Vince McMahon tried to push in professional wrestling, Ultimate Warrior. How did that work? Fantastic. Why? Because Vince McMahon knew that guy had the look and said, just go out there and be extremely you. I don't know what the direction was for the Monica Rambeau character, but it didn't work. I hate doing episodes like this because this feels like just straight bitching. I feel like I'm just complaining about everything. But this wasn't good. This made the entire series feel like a waste of time. This made entirely months of Disney Plus feel like a waste of money. And I think that look, it's a precarious world. And to be making people pay for a year of content to get one season of Mandalorian and one season of something like WandaVision, it's not great. That's all I have for this episode. I don't know if I'm going to be reviewing things on Disney Plus going forward. I have to be 100% honest. But I do plan on having videos on this channel Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So yeah.